This time, I will introduce a collection of readers' reactions to Chapter 1131. Here we go. Why is Loki being targeted with a bounty? 2.6 billion for Loki is not a big deal. Whether 2.6 billion is impressive or not depends on when the bounty was placed. It's higher than T from a little while ago. The inflation is so extreme that it's skewing perceptions. Myhawk's 3.5 billion is ridiculously strong. Since he's in the Cross Guild, he's not alone. The government is aware of Elbaf's inner workings as well. So far, the highest bounties for each race are humans 5.5 billion, giants 2.6 billion, giants, again, 1.1 billion, and the mink tribe, with Pedro being the only one mentioned. Dogs and cats are close to 1 billion or in the 2 billion range. This is the first time since Blackbeard's previous bounty amount that such numbers have been seen. Here's the bounty breakdown. Roger 5.5 billion, Newgate 5 billion, Kaido 4.6 billion, Luffy 4.3 billion, Shanks 4 billion, Myhawk 3.5 billion, Buggy 3.1 billion, Luffy, Law and Kid 3 billion, Loki 2.6 billion, Crocodile 1.9 billion, Doflamingo 1.8 billion, Hancock 1.6 billion, King 1.3 billion, Marco 1.3 billion, These Queen 1.3 billion, Zoro 1.1 billion. The bounties for the former warlords are way too low. Doflamingo should have at least 1.5 billion. The warlords couldn't become true powerful figures like the four emperors. They were just losers fighting rookie pirates in the first half of the seas, so it's understandable that their bounties are low. The first battle was with small-time government dogs. Teki and Law joined the warlords just for their ambitions, so they're excluded. The others became small fry working as government dogs, seeking stability. They were supposed to destroy the world when they first appeared, but actually they ended up being figures who could lead the world to a new dawn. That's why, even though they aren't pirates, Loki has a higher bounty than the captain of the Dreeb pirate crew, who is a pirate. Loki is reportedly tied up in a 6-year contract here, which is a joke. If you consider Loki's ability based on his fruit, it's the power to see the future. Eventually, he'll lead the giants and fight against gods and friends, possibly even facing off with the Ragnarok. It's a story where the giants fight, and both sides are destroyed, and the humans' era comes. So the celestial dragons will likely disappear. I also recall that in the middle of the North King myth, the world once sank into the sea. What's interesting is the special bounty on Loki. 2.6 billion seems low for someone who could bring about the world's collapse. Is the friend Shanks met possibly Loki? The one Shanks went to meet might be Loki. If Loki is close to Shanks, then once this is revealed, Loki's position as Elbaf's White Star is already set. During the World War, Loki will be one of the allies leading the country, coming to help. It's possible Loki is the one who was on the ship whose egg hatched. There might be a setting where Loki is on equal terms with the younger Shanks. Both might have thought they were dead, and it's suggested that Shanks defeated Loki to become one of the four emperors. If Loki had calmed the turmoil in the country, he would have been in a difficult position as a four emperor, though. Is Shanks's friend really Loki? Even if Loki fights against Luffy and Elbaf, he will likely become an ally in the end. It might not be Dreeblo. A long time ago, when Shanks landed on Little Garden and became friends with Dreeblo, Shanks left without him, thinking Dreeblo had died. Since Dreeblo didn't follow them and Shanks didn't read the newspapers, he didn't know. Later, when Shanks and the others visited again, Dreeblo was missing. Kashi came to greet them, but Dreeblo wasn't there, so Shanks thought they had fought and killed each other. After all that, when Shanks arrived at Elbaf, Dreeblo was there. So, does Loki have a connection with Shanks? Was the friend Shanks mentioned really Loki? If so, the idea of him being tied up and not helping feels off. Maybe there's another person involved, as the silhouette of the person Shanks spoke about hasn't appeared yet. The theory that the person could be a Kaba is still possible. If Loki is freed and becomes a ruthless villain, causing the giant nation to collapse, I would reassess the author's choices. However, since Luffy's actions always lead to positive outcomes, it seems unlikely. The setup where Loki once proposed to Lola might come into play, though it feels like it's been forgotten, like the idea of suicide on the highway. I think Shanks probably defeated Loki and suppressed him, only for Loki to become the strongest in Elbaf. This is now confirmed. Loki is physically connected to the treasure tree atom, which is chained with sea stone, so he can't escape. Did Shanks assist in capturing Loki? Just like Shanks tested Bartolomeo, is he now testing Loki or Luffy? What does it mean when they call Shanks a coward? Is it because they think Shanks is a loser? Does he get angry when people talk badly about him, even though he's trying to defeat them himself? Is it a kind of twisted, possessive love? It's a bit much to get upset, but using Gear Fourth is funny. Since Luffy and Loki have different sizes, Luffy has no choice but to use Gear Fourth. If he just used Gum Gum pistols, it would just be a slap, and Loki would just grin. He did use it on giants in Dressrosa, but if his friends are insulted, Gear Fourth is the minimum he'll use. There's no way Loki can't see this coming. There are meta reasons for why he might not be around now. Didn't Roger once want to destroy a country after being mocked? It feels like Gear Fourth might have overcome the recoil by now. Hasn't it been since Enel's Gear Third? In battle, there would be energy depletion, and when that happens, the surrounding people help, leading to a victory, right? But if energy runs out in a crucial fight and no one helps, then it's a loss. Is Loki's sense of beauty just warped? Loki seems pretty cool or clever. 6 years ago, Shanks defeated Loki, and now it's a test of strength, so they're similar in some ways. When Loki first appeared, it was effective on Luffy, Kid, and Doflamingo. Even on the Sea Kings, it worked. Isn't it impressive that it even affects the Conqueror's haki? The Marines should use Sea Stone better. They've been able to use it on Loki too, and soon they'll be dealing with energy and godlike figures. Enel and Loki might even start talking about gods. The battle between the gods, worshipped by some, could begin. If Loki is freed and Blackbeard is defeated, he could become Pirate King. But if Loki is freed, wouldn't he just become an ally? Loki himself said, "If you free me, I'll kill one pirate you want." That's unexpected. The shock that Hilden was actually a prince like Loki is huge. That guy was one-punched by Luffy in Dressrosa and was a total mess in Doflamingo's crew. He finally woke up and reversed the situation, but it was like a last-minute win. In Egghead, Luffy didn't use his haki at all, but suddenly started using it. If the haki's a rare type, it might match the power of the giants. Loki is likely to be voiced by a big-name voice actor. I'm not really familiar with voice actors, but Loki apparently has people who couldn't even free him. Why ask Luffy, who he just met? Shanks is a coward, after all. Even if Loki is still in Elbaf, he definitely won't meet Luffy. Even after defeating the four emperors, Shanks might not meet him. It seems like Shanks is waiting for the right timing. After all, Shanks has already become a great pirate. His early arrival might have been premature, and this could be related. Shanks is currently chasing Blackbeard. Given that Blackbeard is growing stronger, it's understandable that Shanks would prioritize defeating him. It was already suggested before that Shanks became a Four Emperor 6 years ago, and Loki has been tied up for 6 years as well. It doesn't feel like Loki would be an enemy. Luffy, who has Loki's hammer, might not be the type to get upset if he joins his crew, but it feels off for him to suddenly punch someone who's been tied up. He wouldn't use Gear Fourth either. The way he's acting seems off. It feels more like Loki will become an ally or partner, rather than an enemy. If the chains break, Luffy will probably just kill him, but as an enemy, Loki wouldn't think that way. Characters like Loki should be fought once, then let them go. He's probably weaker than the highway-burning monkeys. What's Loki's ability? The treasure tree atom was in Elbaf, right? This is an important meeting, actually. Loki seems to have quite a unique and troublesome power.